All right. We'll go ahead and get started. But first of all, it's noon, so it's just been announced that Aaron is on the top 10 midseason list for the Katrina McLean Award, given the best power forward in the country. And it's the first time that someone from Arkansas has been on the midseason list. So there's that. And yeah, we'll start with Coach talking a little bit about Sunday's game and go from there.
Yeah, obviously, if you paid, looked a little deeper than just the surface, you see that Auburn on a 3-game win streak for the first time in a long time. It's coincided with them getting healthy. They've had Honesty Scott Grayson and Aisha Koulibaly both healthy at the same time. They haven't had that for much of the season, if at all. I haven't gone that deep, but for most of the conference season, they either had one or the other or neither. They've had all them back. That makes Carissa Richardson a much better player. It makes Shaw a much better player. It makes Bostic. It makes Levy. Their whole team improves when that happens. So Johnny's doing a great job. Weathered the injury bug, and now they're back healthy. And they'll catch us, coming in. They have a bye as well. They'll catch us coming in on a losing streak. So we've got our work cut out for us going to Auburn.
Porter?
Yeah, Coach, just talk about the team's mindset, coming off the losing streak, coming into this game where you're facing a team that is on a 3-game winning streak, and then a coach that seemed to have her struggles that she did last year, and the team's on board with what she's wanting to do.
Your confidence is shaken. I don't think there's any way in possible to try to convince anybody that it's not. When you lose, 3 of our last 4 have been 1-possession games, all of them by 3 points or less. You tend to beat yourself up and be very critical of those games. You kind of flush the South Carolina game, but you look at it, we've played good. We just hadn't played good enough. So the sky is not falling. We've not panicked, but your confidence does get shaken. And then, I didn't make any bones about it. I think our team and coaches were devastated by the way the last one happened. So you got to overcome all that. You got to get your confidence back up. You've got to stick together because there ain't many people pulling for you at this point. This is the time when people jump off the bandwagon and get very critical around us. So we got to make sure we insulate each other from the stuff that's not accurate, and then be very honest with each other about what we can fix. We can be better in transition defense. We can be better at rebounding. We can be better in our defensive assignments. And we can make improvements in those things, and that's where we chose to focus on. We then got dealt, obviously, 2 days of very bad weather that didn't allow us to even see each other. But we've worked through that as well. Back on the practice floor yesterday, and I like where our team is at. I love how they respond to adversity. None of them would have come to Arkansas if they thought it was going to be easy. Where we are at in our desire to be toward the top of this league, you're going to have to do hard things and go through hard times. And we're in one of those, but I do like our fighting spirit. I like that they're not panicked. I like that they don't feel like the sky is falling. We have yet to lose to a team below us in the net. So there is no reason for panic. And I think that's why we don't have any, but there is pain. There is questioning confidence. And we've got to make sure that we control those things that we can fix and let the other stuff go.
And there has been a lot of emphasis on the rebounding, but what has the emphasis been on, defending their guards? There's been a lot of teams that the guards have really kind of got a lot of points above their average. So what's been kind of the key to really slow down guard play?
Well, the best way to be a good rebounding team is not to get beat off the dribble. Everybody talks about, I love people that say, I get them. I got one guy that's sending me all these box out drills. You can't box out in 2022. You try boxing out Angel Reese. Let me know how that works out for you. It's not the way you play anymore. You've got to have a scheme. Our scheme worked for much of the non-conference, but now that we've gotten into people that can out-jump us, we lost some focus on some of that scheme. We've stopped making contact. We've stopped getting 5 to the glass. There's been times we've only had 4, and that's not good enough for us. There's some technique things for sure. but there's more effort it was more lack of effort things, which we pointed out now in film, which I think we can resolve. But a lot of that starts with dribble penetration. If you don't give up dribble penetration, you got a chance to be a good rebound team. We've given up that, but you've got to credit the people we've played against. They're some of the hardest people in the country to keep out of the paint. So we'll go back to square one, do a better job of containing the dribble, and then we'll get 5 to the glass instead of 4 or 3 or sometimes 2. We've had some kids that I lost sight of in a game. I didn't see it happening live until I went back and watched the film. We've got that issue solved. I will be a better watcher. I've got more help on the bench to help me watch it. So I think you've got to start with effort first, technique second, and then execution third.
And then for Aaron to be recognized, for the midseason watch list, the team coming into the season guard oriented, a lot of focus was on Mack and Saylor and Samara. So what does that say about, Aaron getting that recognition, being that low presence and really dominating the way she's played this year?
A tribute to how hard she's continued to work at it. She's done it the right way, came in here and not waited, but was comfortable with her role as a freshman and a sophomore, and then went after changing it. These last 2 years, she was on her way to that last year before she got hurt. She was playing this well at the point where she got hurt last year. She just didn't get to finish the year. So I think she took the summer. She worked in our office. I think she's matured. She's gotten a lot of her. She's just in a good spot in all aspects of her life. She handles her business, and as a result, it's transferred over to the court. As far as, people not giving her the publicity or the recognition or seeing it coming, I don't think that was from within our office. I mean, we're the ones that nominated her for the award. We know how good she is. We've seen it even in her redshirt year. She's just kind of putting it all together. Obviously coming off of a career game, one of the better performances. I hate that it, will always be remembered as happening in a loss, but I just think a lot of people could really learn from Erin. She didn't go out, and when she wasn't starting as a freshman or playing as many minutes, rather than transferring, she got to work, and has earned the number of times we try to throw it to her, has earned her teammates' confidence to throw it to her when we need a basket or get fouled. And as far as the national ranking, you look at that list, there's some players on that list that are nationally known. There'll be some people that have to look Erin up. I kind of think Erin likes being that person. She likes the chip on her shoulder mentality, and we're going to keep making sure it stays on there. And but she has definitely earned the award. It was not given to her.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Dudley.
Hey, Porter did a great job of covering a lot of that stuff. One of the things I was going to ask you is, when you're in a skid like this or whatever, you always would love to play at home, but sometimes it's better to go on the road, no distractions, have that mentality. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, that's been our MO before the skid started, Dud. We've played better on the road. There's no question about it. I've got my theories, but I don't have any. We talk about facts and film around here all the time. I don't have any facts or film to support some of my theories about why we don't play as well at home. But it comes at a good time. If we're going to be on one, I'm glad we're going to get on a plane together and go stay in a hotel together and eat together, and then have just a select few people that travel with us all the time there for the Auburn game, and then back that up with the Vandy trip. So I hope that continues to be the case. I do think our group, when they get focused, obviously has shown that we can be one of the top teams in our league. We've had moments where we played really well against LSU, moments where we played well against Ole Miss, Alabama, those people that are ahead of us in the standings. So we know it's there. Finding a way to do it at home is going to be important because we've still got a few at home that we need to win. But we've identified a few things. We're going to try to eliminate those distractions. One of them is a simple one. I'll give you a concrete example. Like on the road, we get to the gym 90 minutes before the game. And I don't know. I just had not even thought about it. I don't make them get to our home gym 90 minutes before the game. That's a bad part. That was bad on my decision. That's bad on my part for not making that recognition until this late in the year. We probably should have made that a little bit more uniform. So we'll make that adjustment. And we'll make some switches to things and hopefully carry over to what we do on the road. But to your point, I don't think I've ever been as happy about having 2 games on the road as we have right now.
Appreciate it, bud.
You got it.
Ethan?
Yeah, coach, you said that y'all didn't get to practice some this week just because of the weather, right?
Correct.
Do you think that
Well,
being
I mean,
away?
I'm overly cautious. I'll tell you that first and foremost. Luckily we had a bye week. If we'd had a Thursday game, I'd have probably enlisted some 4-wheel drives and people that are great drivers to go pick people up. And we'd have tried to get them here, but with the Thursday, we got them on a Zoom, and I had Tyler, our great strength and conditioning coach, do a Zoom workout with them. Unfortunately, it took everybody back to their COVID days. They were like, I had COVID flashbacks, coach. I hadn't thought about that. But we got a good sweat. We did get together yesterday. We were planning on practicing Tuesday and Wednesday. So since we didn't get to practice on Tuesday, and Thursday was going to be an off day, we've changed that. We will practice today to get as much work in as we need. But yeah, the weather was a little bit of a challenge, but I'm going to err on the side of caution of always making sure our kids have safety over what we would got done if we would have tried to get them together.
And so do you think in a way, I know school being canceled and everything, y'all just gone through a stretch of playing a lot of games in a lot of days while kids are battling, having to go back off of the road and go to class. Do you think that, in the middle of this skid, having a couple days without school and stuff might have helped with the reset? I'm
trying to talk myself into that being the case.
Yeah.
I don't know. We also, I think, are battling a little bit of boredom. I think everybody going back, and I think it has given everybody a little bit of a COVID flashback. I had it sitting at my kitchen table, watching film and having my kids running around all day and not being out and not sitting here. So I'm going to try to talk myself into what you're saying. Let's go with that for now. But I do think we were fortunate to have a bye week. I think had we had a game on Thursday, combined with the weather, and again, I still don't think we're playing bad, but that loss did hurt because of the way it happened with the lead evaporating and having opportunities and not sealing the deal. That and having to rewatch that is hard. But we watched it. We did it together, and it's painful. But I do think sometimes pain changes you. I think in life and in sports, we all say sports is a teacher of life. Sometimes it takes something painful to make you make some changes and learn from some of your lessons. And hopefully this team used that time wisely. Probably won't know until we complete this 2-game road strand to see if that's the case, but I'm hopeful that your observation is accurate.
Mm-hmm. And the last thing that I have is just, with, the Ole Miss game, how in the second half, they just kind of dominated the glass after did a good job in the first half. And then, some of these other games gotten out rebounded. Has there been more consideration of, I guess, like some players like Miriam and Jersey with some length to kind of change up the rotation some?
If those lineups in the past had produced our best rebound, they don't. Sometimes size doesn't just equal rebounding. We've played our best rebounding lineups the majority of the minutes. I promise you. If you want to go back and unpack it, you'd find the same thing. We've had our best lineups out there. We haven't executed. We've had a couple of slip ups where maybe somebody leaks out a little bit early and the ball ends up going right where that person should have been. And I'll just call it out. The kid's a mature senior. We've talked about it. Chrissy leaked out early on a play when Aaron battled for a rebound, tipped it to Saylor. Saylor couldn't quite get her hands on it, went right between her legs. Well, Chrissy was supposed to be right there behind her. Instead, she was down on the other end. And that's a mistake. She knows it, and she'll learn from it. And I feel confident. I don't usually call a player by name, but Chrissy's a pro. She knows it, and she knew it when it happened. We got to get those one possession things fixed. And again, I challenge anybody that is trying to jump off our bandwagon, go back and watch the films. We've played really well, but we've made one or two critical mistakes. And if we have, we surely have learned our lesson, I hope by now, that we are not the type of team that can make critical mistakes and beat the teams that are ahead of us. Ole Miss is ahead of us. Alabama's ahead of us. LSU's ahead of us. South Carolina's ahead of us. You can't make those mistakes at any time of the game. It doesn't have to be the last play of the game. They're all worth the same points. Every trip's worth 2 or 3 or 1 or 4 or whatever you want to, how many ever you want to apply to it. We've got to really understand that every possession is there. But back to your exact question, there may be, I have talked to Jersey, you know, and she's the ultimate teammate. Anybody that doesn't already know that about her should. She's the ultimate teammate when it comes to saying, Coach, whatever I need to do to help the team. You know, obviously we had a plan last year for her to play in the post. This year was her plan to play on the perimeter. We're going to have to, next year was to be a hybrid of that. So we're going to kind of advance it to the rest of this year, getting her back into in between, maybe not at the guard, but also not around the basket, kind of in that hybrid spot. So your answer is yes, we did make some switches to that to maybe have a lineup that has Sailor and Chrissy and Aaron and Jersey in there with Mac or Sam. So you may see that a little bit more in these next games, but I think you'll also see more attention to detail from everybody. I think you'll see our guards getting back in there and getting nights when they have 6, 7, or 8 instead of 2, 3, or 4. You know, rebounding is one of those things, Ethan, that you look at a stat sheet and it doesn't always show your effort. You know, we track, do you do what you're supposed to do? Sailor's a great example. Sailor only got 3 rebounds the other night, but she kept Madison Scott from getting 5 different ones that somebody else got. So that doesn't show up there. Sailor's effort was great, but she only got 3 rebounds in 43 minutes. I had somebody say Sailor's got to get more than that. Well, she couldn't have that night. So rebounding is a tricky one, but our effort has not been where it was. Recognized that too late to help us win those games, but we have recognized it now and we've put some measures in to try to be better at it.
Great. That's all that I have. Thanks, Coach.
You got it.
Anyone else?
I don't know if Dudley put his hand back up or.
I think he left it there.
Oh
Yeah.
All right.
That's like the look of it.
I got a non-basketball one if you got time.
I got time.
All right. I had a little birdie tell me at a local establishment that you and
You
Coach
cut
Taylor
out.
asked. I said, I heard a little birdie told me that you're very crafty at darts, and Coach Hale was too.
Okay.
So if we was to go one-on-one, who do you think's the better dart thrower?
Between Colby and I,
Yes, sir.
me.
Okay. All right. I had to ask that.
Facts and film. I've seen. I it's facts and film.
He's the regular.
All
I will. I mean, and I might not win them all, but when it comes to non-traditional, you know, argue on whether it's a sport or not, I'm really good in those. Like people argue, is golf really a sport? Is darts? Is pool? Is shuffleboard? I'd take, if there was a pentathlon, which by the way we do at my house with a few buddies, pool, darts, shuffleboard, and then aggregate score of Galaga, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Space Invaders, and Centipede, which I have their aggregate score of that. Who wins at darts? Who wins at shuffleboard? Who wins at pool? And Bago. I'll throw my hat in the ring.
I just had a local barber tell me that he was pretty good at some darts. So I had to ask if you had to go one-on-one, who'd win.
I will tell you that I have turned down many a free haircut and just provided a tip in honor of that, because I just don't feel right taking a free haircut because I can hit a dartboard. I can get a bullseye a lot.
That's unfair.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank y'all.